after around 49 with ample sunshine for your Wednesday and a high near 73. On Thursday, we're back in the lower 70s, clear skies with plenty of sunshine Friday. I'm meteorologist WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently, it's 59.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Well, good morning to you. Welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show. Brand new week for you. Last week in the month of September already. By the end of the week, we're into October. Amazing. This hour will be open phones. Next hour, we're going to spend some time talking to Lieutenant Colonel Denny Gillem, retired from the U.S. Army, served with distinction. Has a radio show called Front Lines of Freedom. He's written a book, and we'll find out more about his career and some military issues coming up after the 10 o'clock news. United Way of Midland County will be our subject for focus today. Our program brought to you by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty. For all of your residential and commercial real estate needs, give Linda a call, 295-7713. 989-295-7713. For this hour, open phones, whatever you'd like to talk about, you can give us a call and chat with us here on WSGW. This is a week for political junkies. What do I mean by that? Well, this will be a tumultuous week on Capitol Hill, particularly for the Democratic Party. Literally, I think a good portion of their future success or failure will rest on what happens this week. First of all, funding of the government, because if they don't, government shutdowns will happen Friday, October 1st. Raising the debt ceiling. The $1.2 trillion infrastructure package, the hard infrastructure package, roads, bridges, things of that nature. And the $3.5 trillion soft infrastructure package, family infrastructure. All of them are on the table this week. All of them contentious. So as I said, for political junkies, this is a week to watch Washington. I suspect there will be some compromise on funding the government beyond Friday. Probably some kind of continuing resolution that will carry them through maybe December. The debt ceiling will be interesting to watch because the Republicans are miffed that the Democrats passed with reconciliation some financial bills which added to the debt. But in the end, I do think there will be some kind of compromise that allows for the debt ceiling. As to the two infrastructure packages, that's strictly within the Democratic Party. There is no Republican support. There's Republican support for the hard infrastructure bill, but not for the $3.5 trillion one. And there are some Democrats balking at that. Going to be an interesting week, to say the least. Scott is in Saginaw, so let's start there. Scott, good morning to you.
Art, how you doing?
All right.
All right. Hey, I got a few things I kind of wanted to show about Joe Biden and how he treats Americans compared to others in the world. We'll go next. A couple hundred people got arrested for trespassing. I'm using the word trespass because that's what they are being charged with. And they are being detained in jail right now. But if we look to the southern border, there's thousands of people trespassing. But the difference is these people are given hotels, motels, food, clothing, money, and they are told to come back. Here we had the terrorists killed 13 of our soldiers in Afghanistan. Biden says these people will pay. And when referring to our Border Patrol agents who are protecting us, those same people will pay. The Taliban, he says, are good businessmen. Here, and he's losing his patience with us Americans. He's going to investigate our Border Patrol agents, but there's no investigation on those who ordered the drone strike that killed, murdered 10 Afghanians. And then on top of it, he's forcing all us Americans to get that vaccine. And again, the southern border is wide open. This guy is anti-American.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I certainly agree with everything you said. Let's put it that way.
The last one.
Yeah. But, the other question I had, where'd those 15,000 people, Haitians, where'd all those Haitians go?
Actually,
they sent 3,000 back, but what happened to the rest of them? All of a sudden, that whole encampment vanished, and we know they didn't send them all back to Haiti.
No,
they're all in this country.
Yes, that's what Mayorkas said. He said they're in the country. Some of them are being detained in this country, but the rest of them have been released to walk about and to come back on their personal recognizance.
Yeah, and I heard the government will keep track of them. Right.
Not them. Keep track of us, not them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, it's, let's put it this way. Come election time, I hope the public keeps some of these things in their forefront, because that's the only way you'll have change.
Well, that, and we have a fair election. Being that the last election was the only fair one we've had, according to the Democrats, because all the other times the Republicans always stole it. So if we can still have fair elections, it might work.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm kind of being jokeful there.
Well, I understand that, Scott. All right. Hey, listen, good points.
All right, thanks. You have a good day.
You too. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye now. I mean, there are some interesting comparisons there when you think about it. But again, how you view things depends on which side of the aisle you sit. But history has taught us that the American public, both sides of the aisle, can get fed up with one party or the other. And I personally believe that 2022 is going to be one of those watershed years. It is why the Democrats are so eager to get things done now, because if they wait, they might not have a majority to work with again. Remember, in the Senate, they can only afford to lose one seat. And in the House, it's only a few. And if it flips, their agenda's finished. So thus the push to try and get as many things done as possible. And notice in the various agendas how much influence the progressive side of the party has had. Tremendous. Their voices have been heard. All right, Carol is in Sheridan, and then we'll take a break. Carol, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Haven't talked to you in a couple, 3 months.
Well, glad you're here.
Well, maybe I'm not. Okay. A few years ago, we used to worry about and be concerned over people that, ignored red flags when they swim. Now they want somebody to stand there and watch them because they can't see red. People that ride, motorcycles without helmets. and people that don't get COVID shots. But anymore now, we just think it helps to thin out the gene pool. So why be concerned with these people that won't do this, except that they're passing their bugs on to other people?
Well, that's the other side of it, of course.
That's what gets me. Because there are people that can't get the shot, and young people and other people that are around. But I don't know. But anyway, it don't bother me at all. If they want to be stupid, then let them be stupid.
Yeah, just stay away from me, right?
Yeah. Go stay to home, or go mow your backyard or something.
There you go.
But don't come around me. If they want to do that, that's fine. But I just see people have not brightened up any since we've been gone.
And what part of that surprises you?
It's the same crap. I mean, day after day. Can't they think of something else? I mean, it's cannon season. There's lovely apples to be picked and things to be done, and they still dwell on this stuff that's a half a year old or more now, or even more than that. Forget it and find something else to think about, please.
All right, Carol.
Kind of think that.
Appreciate it, dear. Thanks a lot.
Yes, bye.
Take care. Bye-bye now. All right, lines are open for you here on the Art Lewis Show, sponsored by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty, located inside the Point in Saginaw. And new to the Point is Cafe 476, your new coffee stop. And it serves espresso, coffee, tea, bubbles, lemonades, smoothies, frozen yogurt, and more. And you can even get the Art Lewis smoothie. It's actually on the menu as the Art Lewis smoothie. It's chocolate, banana, and pineapple. Delicious. Delicious baked goods made fresh and local. Donuts, pastries, and danishes, just to name a few. Food items added daily, like their cherry almond chicken salad croissant. So make sure to like them on Facebook to get updates on all their new menu items. Stop in. The new Cafe 476 in the Point, where M46 and M47 meet off Gratiot in Saginaw, the former ISD building. Also the home of Pinnacle Realty and Linda Shepard. For all of your residential and commercial needs, give Linda a call, 989-295-7713, 295-7713, Pinnacle Realty. We will take a break and be back with more on the Art Lewis Show.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Choose the proven performance of the Roundup Ready Extend crop system, featuring high-yielding Extend Flex soybeans and the exceptional weed control with Vapor Grip technology, elite genetics, triple herbicide tolerance, flexibility that delivers results, backed by 25 years of innovation. That's the Roundup Ready Extend crop system, the system of choice. XtendiMax is a restricted use pesticide. Always follow stewardship practices, all pesticide label directions, and check with your state pesticide regulatory agency for specific restrictions in your state.
They say if you listen hard enough, you can hear the corn grow. It's true. When you're out in the field, you understand its challenges and what it needs to thrive. Channel Seedsmen bring insights from the field to our team of Bayer plant breeders. Their knowledge inspires our product development. From your best ground to your... Our products are designed to perform in your fields. Visit channellistens.com to see our latest innovations. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Encouraging news on the economy. Durable goods orders rose 1.8% in August, more than double what economists were expecting. Durable goods are manufactured things designed to last for years. Facebook shares are slumping after the company paused creation of a version of Instagram for kids under 30. Cryptocurrency exchanges are closing all user accounts in mainland China by the end of the year after the country last week declared all crypto-related transactions illegal. Amazon shares are losing ground after its decision last week to start charging Prime members a $9.95 delivery fee at Whole Foods The extra charge will start October 25th. Pickup orders over $35 will still be free. That's your Fox Business Report. Invested in you.
Guys, Untuckit agrees it's finally time. Time to update our closets with new clothes we actually want to wear. Time to think about going back to the office or choosing a new way to work. Time to enjoy the best of fall, like long walks in the park and hot coffee on a brisk day. And that means it's time to look sharp and feel comfortable all day with Untuckit. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Discover the perfect fitting shirt today at untuckit.com. Use promo code TIME for 20% off your first purchase at untuckit.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDY.
And we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW for this Monday. Open phones, whatever's on your mind, you can give us a call, 752-6111. Inside the state of Michigan, 866-790-WSGW, or inside or outside, 989-752-6111. Most of the phone companies don't charge you roaming and long distance anymore. Paul is in Saginaw. Paul, good morning.
Morning, Art. Art, have you ever heard of history repeating itself?
Of course.
Well, in the late 60s, with 19 seconds left in the game, a kicker by the name of Tom Half-a-Foot Dempsey kicked an NFL record 63-yard field goal against our Detroit Lions. And guess what? It happened again yesterday.
Yeah, a new record, 66 yards.
Right.
And then it hit the crossbar and went over. Of all
right. That's the cut. And guess what? The Ford family was the owner back in the 60s, as they were today. So
yeah, well,
I guess
can't blame him for that. But so, I just,
history does repeat itself.
Yeah, I was musing earlier with the guys that on the way home from Detroit yesterday, we were listening to the Tigers and listened to their loss when the ball bounced over the fence for a ground rule double, and that kept Eric Haas from scoring. And then they couldn't put the final run across to tie it up, so they lost. So then we switched over to the Lions. And what did we hear? Here's the Lions defying all the odds by leading the Baltimore Ravens with about 1 minute and 7 seconds to go. And what happens? Well, credit where credit's due and blame where blame is due.
Right.
I think the first thing was, I don't think Campbell was aggressive enough when the Lions had an opportunity down by the goal line to score. I think they should have put it in rather than just took the ground gain and then hit the field goal. Yeah, it put them ahead, but it also left them in the position of trying to defend the Ravens, who only needed to score a field goal to win.
Well, look at the previous play before the field.
Well, there are a number of things.
Pass play.
Yep, I know that.
Yeah.
And the other thing that happened in that game were some missed calls that cost them. And the other thing that has to be said, Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback, and he knows how to run a team.
Yep.
You can never lay down and figure you got it made when you're playing against him. And he did the job. And so did the kicker. I mean, he's in the record books now. 66 yards, the longest field goal ever. Even if it's a crossbar field goal, who cares? It's in. And that was it, And if it would...
Matt Prater for the Arizona Cardinals, former Lion, tried to kick a 68-yarder, which would have been a record if he made it. But the defender got the ball 9 yards behind the goal line and ran a 109-yard touchdown for that record, NFL record.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know.
There's
It's
a lot of records.
yeah, a lot of records. We were talking about something else yesterday too. That's we were with some friends and we're discussing the possibility. Think about this: the Tigers. What if Justin Verlander returned to the Tigers? He's a free agent after this season, and he has talked about wanting to retire out of the Tigers organization.
Has he got anything left in the tank, though? That's the question.
I think he does. He had Tommy John, and I think he does. He's a quality pitcher who knows how to use what he has, and yeah, I think he still has stuff in the tank. And he also has another advantage. He can teach the young ones. He can teach the young ones.
Right. At the very least, he could come in for a reliever for an inning or two if he can't do.
Well, man, time will tell, because that doesn't mean he's not here yet. Obviously, he's not here yet, but it's something to think about. Be interesting.
They are the announcers after the game were I think Boomer Esiason was talking about the time clock, about zero on the time clock. Did you see anything or anything
time clock had run out. That was
reversed?
one of the missed calls. Well, it ain't gonna be reversed. I mean, the league will apologize and say, "Oh, we missed it." And that's it. You still lose. So yeah, no, they missed. It stands. Sure, it does. They've never reversed anything like that. So all right, good enough, Paul.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Take care. Bye bye now.
Bye.
And Rob is in Frankenmuth. Rob, good morning to you.
Good morning. I just wanted to call and respond to this whole COVID thing that's going around. You hear two different sides of the story. Scientists have also discovered, though, because they haven't really done clinical trials except for people. The pamphlet, you go to look at it, usually it says if you have allergic reaction, blah, blah, blah. It's completely blank. So, anyways, the scientists have found metal, inside of the vaccine, and also found what looks like a parasite. Now,
which scientists? Who are you talking about?
If you go to Stu Peters, the Stu Peters show, it'll actually.
Who is Stu Peters?
He's a radio show host, a veteran, and he is also a ex-bounty hunter. So if anybody's going to say anything that's going to be the truth, it's going to be an ex-veteran, as me, myself, I'm a veteran of Iraq. So, but what you got to look at is that you're hearing what the news, if the vaccine's so effective, why do they have to offer lottery tickets for people to get it?
Who's offering lottery tickets? Who's offering lottery tickets?
States have offered, and different states have been offering them that you can get.
Oh, they've offered them as an incentive. You mean? Yeah.
Yeah. If it's so effective, why are they having to offer lottery tickets? It's so.
Because there's about 70 million Americans that don't believe it.
Why don't they believe it though?
Well, I don't know. Why do the other 160 believe it or more?
Because people, the news is just pushing out, oh yeah, we have to get it. It's so effective.
I see.
And now they want to inject this, and it's been known to cause myocarditis, which is a swelling of the heart and blood clotting.
In how many people?
Well, I know so far 14,000 people have died. Now, usually with the vaccine,
from that, is that right? From that disease caused by the vaccine, is that what you're saying?
Not from the disease.
Oh, okay.
The vaccine. Okay, they're saying, okay, well, this person died of a heart attack. They were perfectly healthy, and all of a sudden they get blood clots. It's known to increase blood clotting factors, and you get these people in the hospital, and they're like, oh, the COVID is so bad. They're giving them remdesivir, which is not even an FDA-approved drug. Hydrochloroquine and ivermectin are. But here's the thing. I looked this up myself.
Where'd you look it up?
I looked it up on the Mayo Clinic website. Remdesivir does cause kidney shutdown, which causes fluid buildup in your body, which would cause you to drown. Now, I don't think they did this on purpose. I think they thought this was a miracle drug. But the problem is they're putting these people on ventilators lungs, it's overworking their lungs as it is. And they're also giving people remdesivir, which is known to shut the kidneys down. So if they're shutting the kidneys down, of course they're going to drown because their kidneys are no longer working.
And how many people?
He's got
1 in a million?
Well, look, no. I've heard of just within the last week.
All right.
Okay. We'll go with just the last week. This gentleman was crying because his grandpa was put on remdesivir. He asked the hospital to take him off of the remdesivir. They removed him from the hospital because they said it was hospital protocol. It's almost like if you go to the hospital, they're just...
All right, listen, we are all free to believe what we want to believe. And
yeah, and I've had COVID. I've had COVID January, and it's nothing more than a flu virus. It's a 99.5 recovery rate. Injecting this into the children is going to be extremely deadly.
All right, Rob.
All right,
thanks. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
We'll take a break, come back with more on the Art Lewis Show.
Hey everyone, this is Pat Johnston from the WSGW Morning Team Show. The biggest game of Week 3 is the Monday night matchup between Philadelphia and Dallas. And FanDuel Sportsbook is about to make it even bigger because FanDuel is giving new customers 30-1 odds on either team to win. That means you can end the NFL week right by winning $150 on just a $5 bet. It's offers like these are just one of the many reasons why football on FanDuel. The app is safe and secure. It's easy to use. They've got fast payouts. Besides, they are the #1 rated sportsbook app in America. So just sign up with promo code WSGW this week before Dallas takes on Philadelphia. You could win $150 on just a $5 bet. Remember to use promo code WSGW so they know I sent you. Must be 21 and present in Michigan. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
Motown legends, the Temptations, the Fort. Saturday night, November 27th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Temps and Tops together again. Tickets start at $34. On sale now at the Soaring Eagle, at Eagles Landing box offices, or online at etix.com. T&T together again. The legendary Motown sound, November 27th at Soaring Eagle Casino.
Just like
Spend part of Thanksgiving weekend with the Temps and Tops at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Motown's Fab Five and Famous Four, The Temptations, and Four Tops. Tickets on sale now. Details at SoaringEagleCasino.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for the Frankenmuth Corn Maze. You are going to get a family pack for only $18. It's usually $36, but you are getting it half off. The family pack covers 2 adults and 2 children for entry. The Frankenmuth Corn Maze is open from September 24th through October 31st. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now and snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
This is the Stone Specialist Studios, 100.5 News Radio WSGW, 790 News Radio WSGW.
And we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Back to our phones. Charlie is in Bay City. Charlie, good morning. Charlie, are you there?
Good morning, Mark.
Morning.
I'd like to talk to you about the bridges in Bay City.
Sure.
And I like the way it's going so far. I also think it'd be nice if the lake liners were invited to share in the burden, the financial burden of operation and maintenance of the bridges.
You say the lake, you mean the freighters?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is under federal waterway law, they have the right of way.
Yeah. I've been told that.
Yeah, and that's the law.
Maritime law.
Yep.
Which in effect subsidizes the freighters, and so the taxpayer has to make up that, and it's a lucrative business. They might be willing to donate. There wouldn't be a law against that.
Good luck with it. Yeah.
Well,
in the real world, good luck with it.
As far as I know, they haven't been asked.
Probably won't be either.
It would just be a good idea to ask.
Yeah.
The maritime law basically.
Well, the law's in their favor.
It's protectionism. It's the purpose is maintain navigable waters
for the flow of goods and services and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but not for free.
No, yeah.
The people in Sanford Lake and Lipson Lake would have some strong feelings about that.
Well, that's not navigable water, though. It's a different situation.
It was.
No, it's not. No, you couldn't take a freighter up the Tittabawassee River.
No, but
it's not navigable under federal law.
Boating.
Well, recreational, yeah, but it's not navigable under federal law when they talk about commercial navigation.
Okay, but Cato Institute did a study on maritime law and recommended that they abolish it. That it is a form of protectionism and subsidizing. So, in effect,
it's not going to happen. You know that, and I know that.
A lot of our, yeah, because Congress doesn't like to do their job. What are they being paid for? I mean, yeah, it's a tough thing to do, but they should do it.
Not going to happen.
As a result, a lot of funds get diverted to maintenance and construction and operation of the bridges, and our city streets are suffering because of that.
Well, that part's true.
And
yeah, that the city streets, no doubt, are suffering, and somehow we have to figure out how to get money to that. The infrastructure package, the 1.2 trillion infrastructure package, might address some of that, but that's all tied up right now. So the things we need don't seem to get done. All right.
Well, okay.
Fair enough, Charlie. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, have a good day, Eric.
You too. Bye-bye now. Russ in Bay City, before we have to take a break. Russ, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Well, here we go again. We got people going, oh, look at the dummies that won't get vaccinated, or look at the dummies that won't wear masks. Are they including all the Democrats? Because you look at their events, they don't wear masks. You look at their dictated mandates, and they exclude themselves from from the mandate to be vaccinated. Have to be vaccinated? Why should we? It's an interesting thing. I don't get that. I mean, personally, I think it should be a personal choice. And as far as I know, okay, I can't go to concerts, I can't fly on airplanes, I can't this, but I got a real bad case of COVID, and I survived it. And my T-cell immunities are 1,000 times better than anyone who's been vaccinated. And they don't get counted. We don't get counted at all. We never even get mentioned except for on right-wing radio or Facebook. But as far as ABC, CNN, MSNBC, they don't even talk about it at all.
Well, T-cell counts vary from person to person.
Not according to the medical studies. There was just a recent one out of Israel that was very comprehensive. And it was comprehensive enough for the mainstream to talk about parts of it. But the part they left off was the T-cell immunities. And who can blame them? How you're supposed to dictate people do as you say and not as you do when there's evidence to prove they don't have to.
Yeah, well, I hold the position that everybody should get vaccinated, but it's between them and their doctor. And that's the way I leave it.
And I agree with you. I don't believe that everyone should get vaccinated. I do believe it should be between you and your doctor, not you and some federal official. And especially not a dictated mandate that wasn't even passed by law by Congress. It's not a law to dictate. If it doesn't go through Congress, laws go through Congress. Dictates go from the head. I'm dictate this. You just got to do what I say. That's BS. That's Soviet crap. We don't have a dictator. We have a chief executive that is supposed to uphold the laws passed by Congress. He's not supposed to be mandating dictates.
All right. Fair enough.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care, Russ. Bye-bye. I will take a break, come back with more. We'll get to Errol when we return.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan Mackin Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AA Wealth Management, LLC.
Michigan, it's time to play Lie or Law. Lie or Law. Drivers must allow at least 3 feet when passing bike riders. It's a state law. Bike riders must ride in the direction of traffic. It's a state law. If anyone tells you different, it's a law. And remember, it's everybody's road, everybody's rules. Sponsored by the Michigan Office of Highway Safety Planning and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
If you've got a small business, you know there's nothing more valuable than your time. So why waste it at the post office? Stamps.com makes it easy to mail and ship right from your computer. No special equipment required. Whether you're an office sending invoices, a side hustle Etsy shop, or a full-blown warehouse shipping out orders, Stamps.com will make your life easier. You'll even get exclusive discounts on postage and shipping from USPS and UPS. And their new Rate Advisor tool lets you compare shipping rates across carriers. Find the best option. Save time and money with Stamps.com. There's no risk, and when you go to Stamps.com and use offer code FOCUS, you'll receive a 4-week free trial, plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com. Click on the microphone at the top and enter code FOCUS. That's Stamps.com, promo code FOCUS. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again.
Michigan Wolverines football is on WSGW.
Give it to Haskins. Left guard. That's on Haskins. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan. Langen gets it. Then he doesn't get it. He stopped short. It'll be Michigan taking over. And he will be stopped. He fumbles. It's picked up by Colson. And that should do it.
Michigan prevailed in its Big Ten opener to remain undefeated. But the first road test awaits for the number 14 Wolverines, who visit the Wisconsin Badgers this Saturday with coverage starting at 11 a.m. Radio WSGW. Kickoff is at noon. Michigan football is brought to you by Forward Energy, Lingle Equipment Company in Saginaw, Schaefer Beer Line, Ram Truck in Frankenmuth, Big E Sports Grill, and Wolf Files Ace Hardware in Saginaw. Michigan visits Wisconsin live this Saturday morning at 11 on 790 News Radio WSGW.
It's Michigan football all season long on WSGW.
Back with you on the Art Lewis Show. And Mike is in Bay City. Mike, good morning.
Hello, Art. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Art, I guess I look at it this way. Anybody that decides not to get vaccinated is being selfish. And why I say that is because think about all the healthcare workers that have to deal with the people that are sick and overload the hospitals. So why are they avoiding this? Why? It's not a political thing. We put a vaccine out there to help people from getting sick. Why is this a big deal?
Well, it has become a political thing, unfortunately. And there are those people who have what they view as legitimate concerns about vaccines. I mean, let's face it, it's nothing new. I mean, there are parents who refuse to get their kids vaccinated for the most basic of things, and I never will understand that, but they're there. You and I may view it one way, but they certainly have a different view of things, and I will never understand it.
It's not a government conspiracy. It's not a chip implanted in your body.
Oh, I know that. Of
Put
course
it out
not.
there. I know it. And you put it out there to help us.
Yep.
And if you don't get vaccinated, if you don't take care of yourself, you're just being selfish of all that. You go into the hospital and say, and that could have been all avoided.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm pro-vaccine, so I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
I really appreciate your show, and I appreciate you letting everybody talk. But sometimes I just shake my head and I say,
well, that's what makes it a horse race, you know. I mean, that's why we're here, to give people a voice, and that voice sometimes agrees with us, sometimes that voice doesn't agree with us, you know.
Yeah, it is.
It's all part of it.
Thanks for everything, Art.
All right, Mike, I appreciate it. Thanks for calling. Yep. Appreciate it. Bye now. I mean, let's face it. It's, there has been a lot of confusion over COVID-19. Some of it promulgated by the government itself. The rest of it promulgated by talk shows and misinformation and all of that. We had a caller earlier who talks about the Israeli study. Well, that's not the only study. There have been other studies that have showed that the antibodies in some studies fade after several months. Other studies say, no, the antibodies are lifetime. So is it a matter of just believing the one study that says what you want it to say? I don't know. All right. Let's see. Mark in Lake George. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm listening to like your previous caller who calmly said it's selfish for people not to get vaccinated. I think it not to secure the border and have everybody that's vaccinated on the border that's coming across. I find that as selfish.
Yeah.
Because there are people out there that are super spreaders, and I would say that it starts right along the border, malaria and all kinds of other diseases. Even the pregnancy, women that are claiming pregnancy, they should be given a pregnancy test in order to enter or not. That being said, I watched Majorca on Fox News this weekend with a smug grin on his face saying we follow the law.
Yeah.
And every answer that Chris Wallace every question Chris Wallace answered or tried to give him, it was a one answer in return with a smug grin. I really think, and then I followed him on CNN and MSNBC on the networks, and he was whistling like a bird. So if it's Eisen, I'm not saying I would do anything, but his security team, I think, needs to really step up around him. The way he's talking and communicating, he's putting himself in harm's way.
Yeah. I still want to know what happened to the thousands and thousands of Haitians that were under that bridge and all of a sudden disappeared.
Well, that's a great point, because isn't Haiti surrounded by water? So how did all these thousands of people at one time get here? Who sponsored them to bring them here all at once?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I don't know.
Because there's more coming. There's more coming.
That's what they say. They say there's another surge.
Yeah, and he's in Majorca, he's all about, he has no problem with them coming in because he says we follow the law here in America.
Yeah, well, if you follow the law, then you stop them at the border.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, but I'm afraid these sleep taken by criminals.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you don't have that, I'm telling you, people get desperate.
All right.
So,
Mark,
just be aware.
Appreciate it. Thanks for calling. Have a good one.
Yep, take care.
Last caller is going to be Bob in St. Louis. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Art.
Morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
Is it true about this vaccine that the CDC is not mandated to take it, the employees of the CDC and some of the FDA workers?
I don't know. I don't know, but I thought that that Biden issued a mandate about federal workers, except for Congress and their staff. But I don't know about the FDA. I can't tell you. That would be a real paradox, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, not only that, but I also heard the CDC. Now, I heard it on a news channel. I can't remember which one. It might have been CBS or something like that.
I don't know. I'll have to look.
That kind of makes you wonder.
Well, it adds.
Why they would do that?
It adds to the confusion that we all have, doesn't it? I mean, that's.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's typical of what government's been doing with this thing, and it's you wonder why people are hesitant or why they're cautious in believing what the government tells you. So I listen.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm going to have to look that one up though. But that would be
okay.
That would not be. It would certainly not be favorable on them if there's a mandate that all federal workers get vaccinated, but the CDC is exempt. That would be hard to fathom, but we'll find out.
That made me stop and think. One other thing on a lighter note, do you remember the old Gong Show? I think it was.
Oh, yeah,
Barry.
absolutely.
I wish that we could, to where some of the callers that call in, and maybe they're like far left or just kind of like hit a button and say, you know what, let's gong this guy.
No,
whatever.
Not going to happen. I appreciate it. Listen,
you never know.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, Bob. Thanks. Take care.
Thanks, Art.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Take our last break. Be back and close out this hour.
There's a reason why Crane's L&M Appliance Center has been serving the Tri-City area since 1956. Hi, I'm Eric Crane. Customer satisfaction. From the moment you step into my store, you'll know you get knowledgeable support on the best brands with the best possible prices. We help you find the best product that fits your needs and budget. Whether it's new, reconditioned, or scratch and dent, we are committed to give you the best service before, during, and after the sale. Crane's L&M Appliance Center, 3260 Bay Road in Saginaw, where we want to earn your business.
I choose the Roundup Ready Extend crop system. They've got my back. Their spray early weed control guarantee helps me get the most out of early season applications. If I experience less than commercially acceptable performance, I'm eligible for up to $15 per acre on additional applications. That's a system I can depend on. The Roundup Ready Extend crop system. See program details at sprayearlyguarantee.com.
Guarantee is subject to program restrictions. Always follow pesticide label directions.
They say if you listen hard enough, you can hear the corn grow. It's true. When you're out in the field, you understand its challenges and what it needs to thrive. Channel Seedsmen bring insights from the field to our team of Bayer plant breeders. Their knowledge inspires our product development. From your best ground to your most challenging conditions, our products are designed to perform in your fields. Visit channellistens.com. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Come on, come in, let the fun begin.
At MichiganLottery.com, the one place you'll find exclusive games like Queen of Diamonds and Michigan Cash Draw, plus Powerball and Mega Millions that can reach $1 billion. Cash out online or at your favorite store. And all proceeds support Michigan schools and businesses. Get 100% match on your first deposit up to $100, plus free games. Knowing your limits is always the best bet.
So play on, Michigan, 'cause we all win.
All right, that'll do it for this first hour of the Art Lewis Show. Coming up next hour, we're going to talk to Lieutenant Colonel Denny Gillem, retired from the U.S. Army, does a radio talk show called Front Lines of Freedom. We're going to talk about some military issues and foreign policy issues with him. All coming up. That'll be after the news, which is next.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. This morning, Instagram announced it's pausing work on a new app for children. Correspondent Jim Kursula has the details.
Facebook is suspending development of a version of its Instagram photo sharing app for children 13 and younger after widespread criticism of the idea. Lawmakers and advocacy groups have opposed the launch of what's called Instagram Kids. They say the social media giant hasn't made a strong enough commitment online.
Parents say Instagram's particularly damaging to teenage girls, but the company insists the kids version isn't intended for them, but for 10 to 12-year-olds, and says it'll keep working on parental supervision tools. New York is on track to become the first state in the nation to fire healthcare workers if they're not vaccinated against COVID. The deadline is the end of today. Nurse Caitlin Floyd says it'll have a devastating effect.
Because of this mandate, we're going to lose approximately 400 employees.
Governor Kathy Hochul, the National Guard, to help. British scientists say the pandemic's reversed decades of progress in extending our lifespans. Correspondent Vicky Barker is in London.
Most of the 29 countries studied have seen lifespan reductions at a scale that wiped out years of progress. American men have been the worst affected. They've seen 2.2 years wiped off their life expectancy. The losses in Western Europe, the worst since World War II.
The Drug Enforcement Administration is warning Americans to be on the lookout for fake prescription drugs. Cammie McCoy.
EA says it is an alarming increase. Prescription drugs containing fentanyl and methamphetamine. These counterfeit pills are being mass-produced by criminal drug networks in labs, it says. They're marketed as legitimate and are killing unsuspecting Americans at what it calls an unprecedented rate. They've been seized in every state.
Investigators are back at the site of Saturday's Amtrak crash that killed at least 3 people. Former NTSB chairman.
Looking at the operation of the train, was the locomotive engineer properly controlling the train? What is the condition of the track? Is there anything about the track itself that could have led to a derailment?
The man who shot President Reagan more than 40 years ago has a court hearing in Virginia this hour. John Hinckley hopes to convince a judge to grant him an unconditional release from restrictions. He was moved out of a hospital in 2016. They include giving notice if he drives more than 75 miles outside of Williamsburg and providing usernames and passwords for his online accounts. The Dow is up 277 points. This is CBS News.
Indeed helps find great hires fast. Indeed is your all-in-one platform for interviewing, screening, and hiring high-quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Find your style with Patriot Lighting from Menards. Choose from more than 1,000 outdoor. Patriot Lighting comes in a variety of unique styles and finishes to help give your home a fresh, updated look. Save today with 11% off all Patriot Lighting. Start saving with 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through Saturday, October 2nd. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
I wasn't able to sleep in my own bed. Because of my wife's struggles with CPAP, I had to move out to the couch, out to the recliner, out to my son's bunk bed. That is until she started using Inspire, a sleep apnea treatment that works inside her body with just the click of a remote.
Get back to Inspire. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit InspireSleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad. You're hiring. 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today, but you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/find. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/ That exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's /find.
Live From the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Partly cloudy skies and 65 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Percha. A Michigan State Police trooper is going to be okay after a crash in Flint. The preliminary investigation indicates the trooper was driving around stopped traffic late Friday when his Chevy Impala turned left into the path of the patrol car. The 18-year-old man and an 18-year-old woman received minor injuries but refused. Investigators say the trooper was treated for non-life-threatening injuries at a local hospital. Starting next Monday, Midland will begin its free fall yard waste collection. The free collection period will run through the rest of the yard waste collection season. 40-cent per bag stickers and annual yard waste bin stickers will not be required. Residents are asked to refrain from raking leaves into the street until bulk curbside collection begins in late October. For updates to the yard waste collection, visit cityofmidlandmi.gov/leaf update. Residents of Midland or Midland County who have loved ones buried at the Midland Cemetery are from plots by this Friday. On Saturday, annual flowers, artificial decorations, and the receptacles will be collected and discarded. The staff begins its fall cleanup of the cemetery. Only suspended plants and elevated arrangements will be allowed from Saturday through Thanksgiving. Will be allowed from Thanksgiving through April 1st. A violation of cemetery rules can result in a $50 fine for a first offense, with increasing fines for future offenses. For a complete copy of rules and regulations of cemetery practices, visit cityofmidlandmi.gov/cemetery. WSGW News Time, 10:07.
Motown legends, the Temptations, the Four Tops. Saturday night, November 27th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Temps and Tops together again. Tickets start at $34. On sale now at the Soaring Eagle and Eagles Landing box office.com. T&T together again. The legendary Motown sound, November 27th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Just like Spend part of Thanksgiving weekend with the Temps and Tops at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Motown's Fab Five and Famous Four, the Temptations and Four Tops. Tickets on sale now. Details at SoaringEagleCasino.com.
WSGW News Time. Forecast is coming up. A 27-year-old Comstock Park man has died in a rollover crash early Sunday morning. State police say the man was driving an SUV on US 131 northbound near Howard City around 2:30 a.m. when the car left the road and flipped over. Troopers say the man was ejected from the vehicle, and investigators say he was wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash, which remains under investigation. The Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island was the site this past weekend for the Republican Leadership Conference, a meeting of party leaders and members across the country. Charlie Langton was there.
This is the largest in the entire year here on Mackinac Island. There's 1,600 Republicans. Put that in perspective, there were about 1,200 people from the Detroit Policy, the Chamber's Policy Conference. So there are more Republicans at this conference. And actually, I was just talking to the people in the Pancake House next to the Pink Pony. You may know that, next to Ryder's Fudge. They were telling me that the last week has been one of the best weeks they've had for business.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz addressed the conference, saying the Republican Party, the party of men, women, and jobs, should be going forward. AAA says gas prices have jumped up 8 cents across the state since last week. The current average unleaded is $3.24. A full 15-gallon tank of gas will run you about $49. Most expensive gas is in Ann Arbor, Metro Detroit, and Lansing, where the least expensive can be found in Benton Harbor, Marquette, and Flint. Crude oil prices increased last week following the release of a report showing total domestic crude inventories have decreased. The price increase is also being driven by a threat of a Federal Reserve interest rate hike. WSGW News Time 1010. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the upper 70s. We'll have winds out of the west around 5 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 20. Then for tonight, below near 50. Tuesday, sunshine, high of 68 degrees. Then by Wednesday, sunny skies, we'll see high around 74. Thursday, plenty of blue skies and sunshine, high around 67. And then by Friday, mostly sunny, high around 69 degrees. Saturday, partial sunshine develops a high around 70. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently, it's 63.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. From around your block to around the world, The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And a good morning. Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Nice to have you with us on this Monday morning. Very special guest with us this morning, a graduate of West Point back in the early 60s, served with honor and distinguishment in the U.S. Army for many, many, many years, and upon retirement found himself in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where he then started a radio show called Front Lines of Freedom, talking about military news and foreign policy and things like that. Also an author of a book, which we will find out more about this morning. And we say good morning to Lieutenant Colonel Denny Gillem, retired from the U.S. Army. Colonel, good morning to you.
All right, thank you. It's a pleasure to join you.
Pleasure to have you with us this morning. So I have to go back to the early days of the Gillum career, if you will. What led you to West Point? Why did you want to be in the service? Let's start there.
You know, I'm the only person in my direct line to ever wear a military uniform. I don't know what the attraction was, but I knew growing up I wanted to go in the Army. And eventually that led me to West Point. Took Army ROTC in high school. Don't know why. The rest of my family's mostly cops. So I'm the oddball in the family.
Well, we thank you for being that oddball, and we thank you for your service. I mean, you served at a contentious time in our history with Vietnam and all of those things. When you think back to it, what was there about Vietnam that led us to treat servicemen so poorly when they came home?
That's a really one of the things. I'm 6'3", and an Army Ranger, and therefore I was never abused in any way, at least not near me, in airports or anywhere else. But I know lots of people who were, and one of the things I did towards the end of the period was that I was at the ROTC department at Stanford University while we were being thrown off campus. So I'm familiar with the hostility, but I don't think I ever figured out it just, because my first tour in 65, 66, it wasn't like that. The second tour, 67, 68, it was. And I don't know. When I was at Stanford, I made a deal. I'd sit down and talk to anybody about anything. And now Stanford's got some pretty bright people at it. I didn't find any students at all who could articulate anything that made sense to me as to why they were opposed to this. They didn't want to go fight. But okay, I understand. So I don't know.
I know
a turning point.
You spent a lot of your career running ROTC units in various universities. Is ROTC as relevant today as it was when I went to school, and I went to college when I was 16 in 1959? Is ROTC still relevant?
Yes, our nation needs good young officers, and that's the major source. Now there's a second question of, do you want to serve in an Army that has questionable leadership? And that's another issue. But no, our nation needs ROTC programs to be going on, because that's how we create a defense that other people, a deterrent. The only purpose to have a military, if any reason, is to kill people and break things. And if we're really good at that, nobody wants to mess with us. That's deterrence. And we need good people. And the young leaders we get out of ROTC are the major source of that. So yeah, we need ROTC.
So let me ask this, and this is not a great question to ask, but I have to ask it anyway. What do you tell the young men and women who served in Afghanistan that their time in service, their sacrifice, in some cases their loss of life, was worth it?
Now that's a challenging question, but the answer is, in our country, civilians control the military. The civilian specifically is the president, working through the Secretary of Defense. We do what he says. We will not have a coup, military people attempting to take over the government, that sort of thing, like most other countries in the world do. So therefore, we have to do what our leadership says. That's what we do. And was it a awkward, funny, poorly put together war? Yes. I can talk about, once we got in the nation building, we gave up trying to win anything. But that's going another way. We did what we were asked, did it well, and that's all we can do. If you lose a war, that's no fun. It's terrible. But if you do your best for your country, under, in our case, our Constitution, you did your duty.
Yeah,
that's all we can do.
I've said that after 20 years, it was probably right that we exit Afghanistan. The part that I questioned was the execution of how we did it. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. It was time. Frankly, it was past time to get out of there. Beyond horrible. I mean, we have been there for 20 years. Do you really think that none of our military people knew the Afghan military was a shambles?
No.
Do you think they didn't know? But somehow they didn't seem to stand up to President Biden when he said, okay, we're going to pull out like we are, and say, no, sir, that won't work. And if you insist, I'll quit. I'll resign. That's what somebody of honor would do. So, yeah, our withdrawal was absolutely horrible. About 25 years ago, the Russians were in the same boat. 3 years, they pulled out, took everything with them, left behind them a government that ran for 3 full years before the Taliban pushed them over. It's doable. We just didn't do it.
Do we learn from this?
That's a really, really good question. And the answer, there's probably the biggest thing we need to learn from this is that when we decided to just stop fighting the enemy primarily and go into nation building, that was the disaster. I mean, Afghanistan, World War I, the British were concerned about their Indian Empire because it was just a little bit south of the Russian Empire. But there was some space between them, so they drew a circle around it, tribal area, and called it Afghanistan. It's not a country. The tribes don't like each other, know each other, want to work together. They've lived like that forever, and they live pretty good lives, all things being equal. But So the British tried to make them a country. Well, that didn't work. Then the Russians tried, and that didn't work. Almost did. So we decided we're going to do nation building. We're going to have all these tribes that hate each other and pull them together. That was nonsense. And somebody who's done any studying of history and other cultures would know that.
Yeah.
But we did, and we blew it.
I always viewed it as, we're not going to take 2,000 years or more of history and set it asunder and simply say, kumbaya, you're all together. That ain't going to happen.
No, the closest thing to that has ever happened, was in Ireland when the Irish Republican Army disarmed themselves. But they are all the same country.
Same heritage, yeah.
You just don't see terrorist-type groups. And they're not really terrorists.
Yeah.
My terrorist is your patriot. But
True.
People that hate each other suddenly agree to work together.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Colonel, hang on. I've got to take a break, and we'll come back. We're talking to Lieutenant Colonel Denny Gillem, retired from the U.S. Army, talk show host with Frontlines of Freedom, and also an author. We'll talk about his book when we come back here on the Art Lewis Show on WSGW. We'll be back with more.
You can tell it's fall, huh?
Yeah, cooler days.
And leaves changing color.
Kitchen's becoming beautiful.
Yeah, kitchen's become... Wait, what was that?
Well, fall's the perfect time to upgrade our kitchen.
What makes you say that?
Our kitchen and the Wilsons.
Theirs is pretty spectacular. Who'd they hire again?
Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery.
Let Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center help you create the perfect space for your home, from imagination to completion. Go to premierkitchenandbathgallery.com to get started. Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom. Get inspired.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks opened mixed, though demand was stronger than expected last month for expensive manufactured things. Durable goods orders rose 1.8% in August. Facebook shares are losing ground after its decision to pause work on its Instagram Kids for children younger than 13. Boston Fed President Eric Rosengren will retire at the end of the month because of a health condition. Rosengren was recently accused of actively trading stocks and other investments while also helping to set monetary policy. Blackstone has reached an agreement to sell the Cosmopolitan Casino and Hotel on the lot to a group of investors for more than $5.5 billion. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
If you think vaccines alone will protect you from COVID-19, think again. More breakthrough cases of COVID variants show that vaccinated people are still vulnerable to the deadly disease. To be safe, monitor regularly for fever, as it's the leading sign of COVID-19. Use Exergen, the only thermometer scientifically proven to detect fever, and beware of non-contact devices that miss 5 out of 6 fevers. Enough. So protect yourself and your family with the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Though many people are doing okay today, there are still many people experiencing difficulties in the community. Here is a reminder for you of a free community resource you are encouraged to use if you find yourself needing extra support. 211 is a public service number for all You can call it anytime, any day, and an agent will connect you with whatever it is you're looking for. Food, financial assistance, housing support, clothing, transportation. All you need to do is dial 211 or text your zip code to 898-211 to get connected. Looking for a COVID testing location? Need help paying your bills? Is food in short supply for your family? Dial 211 to talk to a compassionate, highly trained agent who is ready to connect you with local resources. It is a free and confidential service to help you overcome obstacles of all sizes. This message is brought to you by the Saginaw Community Foundation because it takes forever.
On the next Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins show, excited to get back in the saddle and whip up a show.
Reared up and ready to go.
Chomping at the bit. Let's hoof it.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
Hi, back with you on the Art Lewis Show. We're talking to Lieutenant Colonel Denny Gillem, retired from the U.S. Army, a talk show host with Frontlines of Freedom, where he talks about military news, foreign policy, and the like. But, Colonel, am I correct? You've written a book, too?
Well, and I sort of coordinated and wrote part of another. So I guess does that count for 1.5? I don't know.
Qualifies you. Sure. Tell us about them.
The first one is basically I call it the Smiling Ranger. It's maybe 100 really short, mostly funny stories of my time in uniform. It just every funny thing I could think of, I put down. And, each they're not. You don't have to read it in order. And there's a few that are not that funny. Just my sense of humor coming out. I've never taken life or myself too seriously unless someone was shooting at me, and so therefore,
And you have two Purple Hearts to prove that, right?
Yeah, fortunately, they were pretty minor things, but yeah, sometimes you just don't get out of the way fast enough. The second one, the name of my show is Frontlines of Freedom, and the name of the book is Frontlines of Freedom. And if you go to Amazon, the name of the author is Frontlines of Freedom. But I got 20 other people, all veterans. The one exception is one of my co-hosts, Pastor, is a good friend of both of ours, and he came up with the idea that we should write a book. So therefore, I had him write a chapter. But it's basically a call to action book to Americans to return to our basic values, serving, not being served, being morally and patriotically put together. It's just it's about 22 total chapters. I wrote 3 of them. It's a Let's Turn America Around book.
That's really interesting. It conjures up in my mind a couple of presidents. Kennedy saying, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." And then Reagan talking about personal responsibility. It immediately came to mind when you said that.
Well, yes, what was one of the motivating thoughts of which way to go? Apparently, our minds are somewhat similar. That sounds scary.
Yeah, 2 talk show hosts in agreement. Oh my goodness! What brought you to radio? What brought you to the talk show?
You started a show about 15 years ago, a little bit longer. I moved to Grand Rapids because the Army sent me here. I didn't want to come. I'd been to Michigan only once in my life, and that was the Detroit riots. But the Army didn't say please. They sent me to Michigan to be an Army advisor of the Michigan National Guard. And we fell in love with the seasons and the culture and everybody, so I retired so we could stay here. Well, because I had been a Middle East war planner for a long time, and this was in the 1980s, I got to know a lot of people. I'm a networking kind of guy, and people in media knew, 2 times a year or 3 times a year, they're up for a 4 or 5 minute interview on some usually Mideast issue. They all knew who I was. One day, the phone rang, and it was Wood Radio, my flagship station. And the question was, we want to do a military talk radio show. Will you host it? That never happens. And I'd never, ever thought about it. But I've got a really good friend who, like me, is a Vietnam vet. He's now an evangelist. And Dave is fond of saying, the question is, let me pray about that. Amen. Okay. And that's what I said. And it took us about 6 months to put the show together. And we're in our 15th year. So I just responded to their request.
Could you imagine back in the day that you'd be on, what, 167 stations or something like that?
No, I couldn't imagine being on one station. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was certainly a new experience for me. And I've been advised of two things. One, that I've got a perfect face for radio.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. And two, that my voice works pretty well.
Yeah. Well, you said something very important. You enjoy it. You had fun doing it, which is why I still do it. I mean, I'm 78 years old. I can do lots of other things. I can't think of anything I'd rather do than exactly what I'm doing right now with you.
Well, you're just a kid. I'm 80.
Okay, Dad.
I agree totally with you. I totally agree with you. It's fun. I'm doing something. I'm impacting people. I'm sharing. Why wouldn't you want to keep doing it? I mean, it's fulfilling.
Well,
I have to be doing something. I failed retirement about 4 times.
I call it purpose. In interviews, I've told people I have to have purpose, and this is purpose.
Yes, well put. I'm going to steal that.
Okay, you can do that. I have no problem at all with that. So
I had a buddy tell me once, you can steal it. Give me credit for the first time. After that, it's yours.
There you go.
Anyway.
All right. So let me ask this question of you. You've been in the military for a lot of years. You've been in and around the military for a lot of years. What is the state of our military today? Are we in sufficient size and quality to defend this country?
Wow. There's 2 answers to that. I think we're a good size. Can always be bigger. But quality is the issue. One of the major themes that you find everywhere in all our service academies, all our training, is critical race theory, which means if you're black and I'm white, we have to be suspicious of each other. We have to judge each other by our race, by our skin color. You don't build teams like that. I couldn't take a rifle platoon or a rifle company into combat with that kind of attitude. We're Americans. That's what makes it work. And with that kind of training that is being forced on everybody in the military, I don't know how teamwork can continue in that. So that's one issue. The other issue is that's coming from the top. That's coming from the very top, and it's been there for quite a while. When you look at what happened in Afghanistan, how many generals stood up and said, your withdrawal plan isn't going to work, and if you're going to do it, I resign.
Yeah.
0. That makes me truly question the integrity of most of the people wearing stars in our military. I can only specifically name 3 or 4, but you can't be there. You can't let something that stupid happen and just say, well, I advised not, and they said to do it. Well, if you stay in and do it, you're part of it.
It's not a question of defying the order. It's a question of resigning because of the order.
Yes. Well, first confronting it, because theoretically, if you are a senior person, your opinion is valuable. If they won't take it, and it's going to cost lives, and you resign, you step down, and maybe go public. I mean, isn't that what we want public servants to do, to look out for our country?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I am not at all happy with the state of our military, but it's not the troops. It's not the privates and sergeants and lieutenants and captains and colonels. It's the ones wearing stars. I think we have good people, but I don't know how many good people will stay in that kind of an environment. I expect that's going to be a problem too.
So let me ask you this: looking at future conflicts, God forbid, are they going to be of gun and bullets, or are they going to be on the net, cyber?
My suspicion is the answer is both. But certainly cyber is going to play a huge role in it. But until you are physically occupying ground, you don't control it. I don't care what else you do. So, yes, it's going to be the traditional battle type thing, but probably fewer of them, but they will be more critical because they'll be, I'm not sure what the right word to call it is. I'm really not a geek, but they will be prepped and supported by lots of all that kind of stuff, which will make the enemy's situation harder for them to control. And they'll be doing the same thing to us. But still, when push comes to shove, it's troops on the ground that make the difference. You don't control it until they're there.
Yeah. Well, Colonel, I want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to spend with us. We'd love to do it again. Fascinating conversation about very important topics, to say the least.
All right, it'd be a pleasure. I like working with young guys like you.
Thanks, old man. Because that's a compliment in the military. So.
It is.
Denny, I appreciate your time this morning. Have yourself a great day. And we appreciate your service to your country.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye now. Lieutenant Colonel Denny Gillem. And we thank him for spending some time with us. His radio show, Front Lines of Freedom, and a book of the same name, and a great career in the military. We're going to take a break, come back. We'll have open lines for the remainder of the hour on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Let me ask you how you slept last night. You know, today's workers are asked to do more for less. So when you go to bed, and theoretically you spend a third of your life there, if you figure 8 hours a day, you really need quality sleep. And you can get it with a quality mattress from Sanitary Mattress. Now, you can visit all the so-called sleep stores, or you can rest assured the mattress you're using is manufactured right here in the Great Lakes Bay region to your specifications. Your dollars are spent, and they stay right here in the local economy. Your time in bed may be cut short by today's demanding world, but don't be fooled. You can still get a quality good night's sleep on a Sanitary Mattress. By the way, they feature 1 hour window delivery of your mattress to your home. You don't have to wait around all day for them. And if you have an RV or a boat, Sanitary Mattress will custom make a mattress to your exact size, something the box stores can't do. Visit Sanitary Mattress Factory and Showroom, serving this area since 1935. Set your GPS to 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw, just east of the Harry Brown Airport. Visit them on the web at sanitarymattress.com or call 753-1757. More ahead on the Art Lewis Show.
For 3 generations, Delta Door has been installing and servicing garage doors in the Great Lakes Bay area. Now they're looking for additional installation specialists to share the tradition with an ever-increasing number of new customers. If you're good with equipment and have a clean driving record, if you're willing to work a busy week and can handle some minimum physical requirements, Delta Door would like to talk with you about a full-time opportunity as an installer. Apply in person at Delta Door, 2835 Universal Drive, Saginaw.
For the best garage doors, service and more, call the Delta Door Doctor, Delta Door.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for the Frankenmuth Corn Maze. You are going to get a family pack for only $18. It's usually $36, but you are getting it half off. The family pack covers 2 adults and 2 children for entry. The Frankenmuth Corn Maze is open from September 24th through October 31st. Plus.com right now and snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Compromise is nice if you're at the playground or scouring yard sales. But farmers know better that middle grounds have no winner. That's why there's Revitec fungicide, fast-acting and long-lasting, preventative and curative, disease control and stress reduction. So leave the settling to little Tommy at the seesaw, an old bargain bill, and take your full prize in yields with Revitec fungicide for uncompromised performance. Always read and follow label directions.
News coverage.
Code Red.
A border in
being released.
We will lead not just with the example of our power.
Gabby Petito remains were discovered.
The hunt for Brian Laundrie.
This third shot.
Done with Afghanistan.
To vote on the infrastructure bill.
The bill is passed.
News around the clock.
Checks and balances, protect our elections. The reckless cutting and spending.
News coverage.
To raising the debt ceiling.
Impacts of a potential shutdown.
News on WSGW.
Can we dream of a world without Alzheimer's and other dementia? You can help raise awareness and funds for Alzheimer's care, support, and research by joining the Bay City Walk to End Alzheimer's on October 2nd. Register online at /walk.
Direct from the Stone Specialist Studios, this is 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
And we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Carl is in Saginaw. That's where we go next. Carl, good morning.
Good morning, Art.
Morning.
We've, getting back to the vaccine, and, it just seems like we've tried appeals to reason and to science and medicine. I'm wondering, what about an appeal to patriotism?
Could try it.
Doing something for your country. I'm sure a lot of your listeners, consider themselves patriots, and would probably, man the walls if this country were attacked. Well, here's a chance to stand up and do something for your country.
Well, here's my view of it. First of all, I think it's a great idea. I don't have a problem with it at all. However, the response will be from some. My country provides me the freedom to make choice, and I'm exercising that freedom. It's a jagged road when you get there.
Okay, if they don't want to take the vaccine and they don't want to be tested, I guess that's their choice. If they want to be a hermit, live outside of society, I guess that's their choice. That's their freedom to make that choice.
Exactly.
But I think, if they want to interact with the rest of us, and shop and work and all that, then I'm sorry, you made a different choice.
Well, yeah, but
your guest last, right before the author,
right,
he talked about personality. Yeah, think about that for a second. Personal responsibility.
Yep.
So, this is all part of it.
No, I don't disagree with you, but I'm just suggesting that the technique of pushing forth patriotism won't work. And it's unfortunate, but just my personal feeling. But
maybe their patriotism doesn't run very deep. But it runs as far as putting flags on the front yard, and that's much deeper than that, apparently.
Well,
so,
as we see it, so what can I tell you?
Earlier caller, who called it, selfish. I think that sums up a lot of these people. And, a lot of the people who called in and said, I'm immune, I have, this factor number and all that. I just wonder, when was the last time they were actually tested for that? Was it a year ago? Was it 18 months ago?
Oh, I don't know. It depends when
it
depends when they had the COVID. I don't know. So.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, a lot of these people say, oh, I had COVID and I'm immune now. Well, are they?
No, not
not
according to most studies.
No,
even if you have the antibodies, you can still get it. So anyway.
Yeah, and I just think there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that confusing. If you don't listen to the wrong people, it won't.
Well, that includes the government then, doesn't it? Because, they've been feeding us all this stuff for a year and a half now.
The one thing about, Congress not having to take the president cannot dictate, what Congress does because of separation of powers. There are limits to.
So Congress ought to impose it upon themselves.
Well, it's not on Biden, because Congress is in a different branch of government.
Yeah.
That's not on.
All right, we'll give him that.
Okay.
All right, Carl, thanks. Yep. And Barb is in Essexville. Barb, good morning to you.
Good
morning to you, Mr. Art. I have a comment on your speaker.
Yep.
That you talked to all our top military brass who have stars on their shoulders, which are being a little, or have become a little tarnished, would have the foresight and wisdom that man has. We would all be in a better position today.
I'm sure he'd love to hear you say that.
Could you repeat the name of that book again that he has authored?
Yeah, Front Lines of Freedom.
Front Lines of Freedom. Thank you very much, and you have a blessed day today, Art.
You too, Barb. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now. And we will take a break and be back with more lines open for you on the Art Lewis Show.
In a world that comes the tale of Veltima fungicide. Swift, simple, and secure. It's a corn-growing story without all the drama. Unless you add totally epic music, really random sound effects, and a cool announcer guy. Get ready for the blockbuster yields of the summer with Veltima fungicide from BASF. Coming soon to a field near.
Label directions. For eligible individuals 18 or older only. Not available in Oregon or West Virginia. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With hearing aids from Lively, everything is done remotely in the comfort of your home, from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. With Lively, you get premium Bluetooth-enabled hearing aids at thousands less than you might expect. The best hearing aid technology is now affordable and convenient. Your hearing aids are sent right to your door. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days.
You people at Lively are wonderful.
With Lively hearing aids, you get free shipping, 3 years of follow-up care included free, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage. You can't lose.
I hear better than I ever thought possible.
Now get $100 off your hearing aids when you go to listenlively.com/radio. That's listenlively.com/radio. listenlively.com/radio.
Play Michigan Lottery online. The one instant win games like Queen of Diamonds, plus Powerball and Mega Millions. Sign up today with promo code RADIO at MichiganLottery.com.
WSGW is proud to be recognized as a Media Market finalist for the most prestigious award in radio, the Marconi Award. Only 5 Media Market stations in the entire country are named as finalists. On October 13th in Las Vegas, only one is honored as the best, the Marconi Award, named after the father of what we know today as radio. WSGW shares this honor with you, our loyal family of radio listeners. You are a Marconi Award finalist with WSGW.
The 3-2, swing and a miss. Got him on strikes. Straight over the Chicago White Sox.
The Tigers play 12:50 today on 790 News Radio WSGW.
Yep, it's their final home game. It's a makeup game, too. All right, back to our phones. Greg is in Bay City. Greg, good morning.
Morning, Art. How are you doing today?
We're doing all right today.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment about our shortage of truck drivers in this country.
Yeah.
Has anybody taken into consideration all our liberal marijuana laws and all these people that cannot pass a DOT drug test?
Yeah.
I mean, they're shooting themselves in the foot here.
Yeah. However, Greg, I want to point something out. Having held a CDL for a lot of years, there has been a shortage of truck drivers for a long, long time, long before all these marijuana laws came along. And I don't know what it is, because it's actually not a bad paying job, not a bad way of life. And for some reason, it's not attracted a lot of people or enough people. You know, you look at the supply chain today, we have a shipping problem. We have ships out in the water that can't unload their cargo because we don't have enough workers on shore and not enough berth space. And then once they get it off the ships, there's not enough trucks to deliver it. And that's because there's not enough drivers and not enough trucks, period. This is a sticky situation. We haven't seen this in a long, long, long time.
And well, I was just coming through Wyoming here last week, and the trains going by with all these cargo containers reminded me we need to utilize the rail systems more.
Well, but you have to ask yourself, once those containers get to their destination, what happens to them?
Well, they truck them.
Yes. One way or another, trucks involved.
I know, but they don't have to truck them all the way across country.
No,
They
of
can
course
train
not.
them, you know what I'm saying?
And they've been doing that for a long time. But
I know, but they just need to utilize them more efficiently.
Yep.
There we are back high-speed trains and all the other, opens a big can of worms.
yeah. Yeah, well, I'm a rail fan. I agree 100%. I mean, I think the railroads are part of the answer. But again, when you get the product to the destination, you still have to have the truck to deliver it. And, you know, what's the difference if you pile it up in a port or you pile it up on a ship or you pile it up in a rail yard? Either way, it doesn't get where it's going. And somehow we have to figure this out.
Yes. No, but of course, you look at it the other way. We don't need somebody on drugs driving whatever bullet down the road.
Well, that's certainly part of the issue.
Yes.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
All right, Greg. Thanks. Bye now.
Bye.
But there has been a shortage of qualified drivers for a long time. Not only in the trucking industry. I mean, I came out of the motor coach industry, and it was the same story that the coach companies are having trouble finding drivers. And same qualifications. I mean, you know, you have to have a CDL and you have to be class certified for the type of vehicle you're driving. And you have to be able to pass a drug test and all of those things. And not only pass one, but take recurring drug tests as a commercial driver. And they come at random times. I mean, you know, you get a call from your employer that says, before you come to work tomorrow, you go to X and X testing place, and you get tested for drugs. Whether you urinate in a cup or whether you blow into a breathalyzer, it doesn't matter. You get the random drug tests. And if you fail, you're off. You're done. So it's a highly controlled industry. And more so now, because at one time, it depended on the honesty of the driver because you kept logs. There are service limits to commercial truck driving and motor coach driving. And it was up to the driver to keep a paper log, time on duty, time driving, time off duty, and prove that you stayed within the limits. Well, lots of people learned how to fudge them. Now, because of the tech age we live in, almost all commercial vehicles have electronic logging. Much harder to fudge. Can't fudge it. So all of a sudden, service hours are within limits. Drivers aren't driving as much. Can't cover as much ground in the same amount of time. It's a changing environment. I think for the better. But until we make it attractive to attract more drivers, and I don't know the answer there, because many drivers already make a good wage. Some are paid by miles, some are paid by hours. It just depends on the system. Some own their own tractors. Others are captured by a company and they drive exclusively for that company. But until we solve that, the supply chain issue is not going to get any better. Not going to get any better. Unfortunate, but it is a fact of life, I'm afraid. I want to go back for a minute to talk about some of the things we chatted with Colonel Gillum. Fascinating conversation. We'll have to have him on again. But he was talking about standing up to the chief executive and how if you disagree, you can't disobey the order, but you resign. We saw none of that. And I don't know why. Maybe we should have. Al is in Midland. Al, good morning.
Good morning, Arthur. Wonderful to listen to Colonel Gillum there. What a fellow. Amazon checked out. I can download his book for a fraction of the price. I've got some Amazon rewards, so I guess I'm going to get a copy of his book. It was mentioned about patriotism. One of the ways that we can show patriotism is to close our borders. If they want to get me to take an inoculation, I want to see the borders shut. And I want to see them shut now.
Yeah, it should have been done a long time ago.
That would get me to take an inoculation. Okay, you're going to talk about patriotism. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, of course, immigration has been kicked down the road by administration after administration.
That we cannot control our borders in our country.
Well, you don't have a country if you don't have borders. You don't have a country.
How are we going to pay for all of the needs for these folks? The health care, the food, the
Good
housing.
luck.
Yeah, how are we going to? We're going to bankrupt this country.
Yeah.
We've got a deficit going out of sight, and we've got spending up the yin yang. How is this going to get fixed?
Yeah.
I don't think
I
it's
don't know.
good.
Oh well,
Good.
I don't have the answer. All right, Al.
Thank you.
Have a
Arthur.
good one.
Have a nice morning,
Yep.
sir.
John, we got about a minute left. Go ahead. John.
Morning,
Morning, John.
There's an answer already to the long-haul truck problem. In the western states, 40% of all the long-haul drivers are Sikhs from India. So it's the government is letting foreign people come in who are drivers of the roads in India. Of course, can be very treacherous. So these boys can handle a superhighway without much problem, and they're willing to go through the hoops that are needed. So
Not enough of them, apparently.
the statistics are given: 4 in 10 long-haul drivers in the western states are Sikhs.
Yeah. Now we got to worry about the rest of the country.
Well, they'll get here.
All right.
Yeah.
Good enough, John. Thanks.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, we'll take our last break, come back and close out after these notes.
Oh, wow. I love what you've done to your kitchen.
Thanks. We did new countertops and a new sink and faucet.
Oh, it looks great. Did you do all?
No, we worked with the remodeling department at Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. They helped us select the right choice for us from their wide selection of countertop material, and we love it. We shopped around too. Reamer had the best selection and the best pricing.
So, what's your next project?
Well, since we love our new kitchen, we plan to do the bathroom next.
Oh, wow.
This time, we'll go straight to Reamer. You should see all the new things they have for the bathroom.
Visit the showroom at Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Cambria quartz and Corian, kitchen sinks made of Corian, stainless steel, quartz, swanstone, and cast iron, plus a large display of kitchen faucets from several manufacturers. One is perfect for your lifestyle and budget. Shop local. Shop Reamer. Go to reamerplumbing.com.
Any way you spell it, Reamer means quality. RocketGrabPlus.com.
The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are always here to give you the deals that you need. You can get tons of half-off deals going on right now. Joyce's Purple Palette, Kitchen Kings, 3rd Gen Tire and Service Center, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Tom Sullivan, weeknights at 7 on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, that's going to do it for the Art Lewis Show for today. Thanks for joining us. Coming up next hour on Focus, we're going to talk about the United Way of Midland County. All of that coming up News first from CBS and the local report, and then we'll be back to talk to you on Focus right after that. Stick around.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Facet Wealth.
I'm Steve Kathan. Facebook has put development of an Instagram platform for kids under 13 on hold. CBS News tech reporter Dan Patterson says it comes after troubling questions were raised about the site's impact on teen girls.
Facebook disputes claims made in reporting by the Wall Street Journal that the tech giant is aware Instagram can be harmful for some teen users. Is based on a large amount of Facebook internal communications. Facebook's vice president and head of research added, it is simply not accurate that this research demonstrates Instagram is, quote, toxic for teen girls.
Now to Joplin, Montana, CBS's Meg Oliver is covering the aftermath of the weekend Amtrak train derailment that's blamed for 3 deaths and dozens of injuries.
The NTSB says once they determine what caused this accident, they are committed to taking action to prevent anything similar in the future. Investigators will be looking at what led to the injuries and fatalities and whether seatbelts could have prevented them.
For unvaccinated healthcare workers in New York State, time's running out to get a shot or run. Deadline is at day's end. Dr. Ashish Jha is dean of the Brown University School of Public Health.
97, maybe 98% of all doctors are vaccinated. 80, 90% of nurses are vaccinated. So there really isn't a lot of hesitancy. It's a very small group. They're very noisy. They're very loud. Most healthcare workers have gotten the shot already.
New York's governor says she might call in retirees or medically trained National Guard members to help if staff shortages develop. It's a key week for the Biden agenda on Capitol Hill. CBS News White House correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
The House Speaker calls this a time of intensity. Congress has until Thursday. A government shutdown will start Friday. Thursday's also the day Nancy Pelosi is scheduled to vote on the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that passed the Senate last month. Progressives have threatened to withhold their support for that bipartisan measure unless they're assured that the much larger package of social spending in the Democrats' reconciliation bill will also pass both houses.
Well, he's the man who shot President Reagan in 1981. John Hinckley Jr., the subject of a federal court hearing today. At issue is whether court-imposed restrictions should be eased. Hinckley, who is 66, was released from a D16. He lives in Virginia, but his psychiatric care and other parts of his life were closely monitored. Checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is up 153 points. The NASDAQ is down. This is CBS News.
Facet Wealth, personalized and affordable financial planning for everyday Americans. No wealth or asset minimums. Quality financial advice for every stage of your life.
I wasn't able to sleep in my own bed. Because of my wife's struggles with CPAP, I had to move out to the couch, out to the recliner, out to my son's bunk bed. That is until she started using Inspire, a sleep apnea treatment with just the click of a remote.
Get back to sleeping in your own bed with Inspire. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit InspireSleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a RoofMax shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money, guaranteed with Roof of Science and Nature. Call Ben today at 859-6751.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
From the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 69 degrees at 11:05. Good morning. I'm Mike Korchop. October 3rd through the 9th is Fire Prevention Week, and the city of Saginaw wants residents to know how to protect themselves. Here's WSGW's Rick Antonio.
This year's theme, Learn the Sounds, to remind and teach the different sounds of smoke and carbon monoxide alarms, as well as the dangers of not having them installed correctly. According to the National Fire Protection Association, 4 out of 5 fire deaths occur in the home, with 3 out of 5 home fire deaths resulting from fires in properties without working smoke alarms. Fire department statistics show that working smoke alarms cut the risk of deaths in home fires by 50%. The NFPA established Fire Prevention Week in 1922 to help create greater awareness and innovation in fire protection and prevention. Mayor Brenda Moore will kick off the Recognition Week with a proclamation at this week's City Council gathering later tonight. Rick Antonio, News Radio 100.5 and 7.
Tickets for the 19th annual Saginaw County Sports Hall of Fame banquet are now on sale. The annual induction ceremony will be held November 7th at Horizons Conference Center in Saginaw Township. Tickets are $50 in advance or $55 after October 25th. Doors open at 3 p.m. for a social hour, with the banquet beginning at 4 o'clock. Making up the class of 2020 is Bill Agresta, Larry Bruthauer, Beth Bull, Rob Cook, George Kubiak, Eugene Seals Jr., Roy Manning Jr., and the 1969 St. Stephen's State Championship boys basketball team. The Hall of Fame Board of Directors will also be honoring its Dr. Tom Slade Athlete of the Year for the 2018 through 2020 school year. Additionally, scholarship winners for the Team One Credit Union Scholar Athlete Award and the Pat Brady Community Service Award will be honored. Tickets can be obtained by calling Sharon Bade at 989-239-9874 or by contacting any Hall of Fame board member. WSGW News Time, 11:07.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are RocketGrabPlus.com. We are always here to give you the deals that you need. You can get tons of half-off deals going on right now from Fat Matt's Barbecue, Joyce's Purple Palette, Kitchen Kings, Third Gen Tire and Service Center, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
WSGW News Time, 11:08. The weather forecast is coming up next. Michigan's Department of Natural Resources has signed an agreement to buy energy for 7 state parks and offices in southwestern Michigan. The DNR says the deal with South Lyon-based Utopian Power will supply nearly 1 megawatt of clean energy to the parks and offices. The Associated Press says it's also an effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The agency adds the annual production of installed solar arrays in the southwest region will be enough to power roughly 90 homes, or equivalent to reducing about 160 passenger vehicles' greenhouse gas emissions. The DNR says it also anticipates saving $1.4 million through a discounted utility rate on the 25-year agreements. Summit continues into its 19th month. The issue of mask mandates for schools continues to be a hot-button topic in Michigan. Tony Ortiz has more.
Most school districts here in the Metro Detroit area have a temporary mask mandate in place, but there are still parents who remain angry that those districts, without their input, have instituted those mandates. At this point, there is no statewide mandate for masks in schools, even though Governor Gretchen Whitmer believes that wearing masks is the right course of action.
That's how we keep our kids in class. That's how we address the incredible disruption that COVID meant for their academic growth. This is absolutely essential. And it's not fun to wear a mask, but you know what? It's not that difficult either. And it's the most important thing we can do to keep our kids in class.
Michigan passed an unwanted milestone earlier this week as the state recorded its COVID-19 back on Wednesday. I'm Tony Ortiz for the Michigan News Network.
When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. It is 11:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the upper 70s. While winds out of the west around 5 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 20. Then for tonight, mostly cloudy skies develop a low near 50. Tuesday, sunshine high of 68 degrees. Then by Wednesday, sunny skies will see high around 74. Thursday, plenty of blue skies and sunshine high around 67. And then by Friday, mostly sunny high around 69. Saturday, partial sunshine develops a high around 70. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently, it's 67.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Focus, sponsored by RoofMax, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find out about RoofMax online at roofmax.com or call Ben at 859-6751. That's RoofMax with 2 X's. On Focus today, we're going to focus on the United Way of Midland County. And we're going to do that with its president and CEO. We say good morning to Holly Miller. Holly, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art, and thanks again for having me back.
You're welcome. 'Tis the season. We hear about United Way campaigns at this time of year. Is the campaign underway now?
The campaign just, and we are well underway, reporting results already of just shy of $1.9 million. That's 40% of our goal.
What's your goal this year?
Our goal this year is $4.7 million.
And, you know, when you look at Midland versus other United Ways around the area, your goal is always significantly higher. But you have some corporate advantages, don't you?
We have amazing corporate partners here in Midland County that also have a regional and imprint across North America. So we are very blessed to have so many committed partners in our corporations, our foundations, our business community, but also in our family foundation and community foundation. So they're also great, not just investors, but partners in really critical and important work.
And of course, with the new structure of major corporations in Midland, and that is when the Dow-DuPont separation happened, you now end up with DuPont and Trinseo. Have they come on board for United Way too?
Yes. So during the spin in 2019, Dow spun to three separate corporations from Dow, Corteva, and then DuPont. And I'm proud to say that DuPont and Corteva really had a lot of that leadership from Dow that was really ingrained in community support. And so they jumped right on board, and they've been amazing partners as well, right from the get-go.
So let me ask what the pandemic has done in terms of United Way's fundraising.
You know, here in Midland County and across our region, right, we had not only a pandemic, but then a flood. And so I think it's in a community like celebrate is our commitment to one another and the ways that people come together. But boy, we've certainly had everything thrown at us in 2020. And now what we're really seeing is the results of all of that disruption. What COVID has meant for the business community, for the nonprofit needs, at a time when nonprofits are struggling for financial support, where they're also seeing significant increases in demand. We have more people that are needing help in our community than ever before. And so I think we should all be very proud here in Midland that we rally together to make sure that those needs are being met. So it is difficult. We had to shift. Think about the ways that people have had to be nimble and shift in the way that they do business. And United Way is no different. One of the things we love is relationships, right? And being able to be in the workplace and talk to folks and educate them and inspire them about community needs. And we had to pivot, as did every United Way across to do that all digitally and remotely. And I think that our team and others have done an amazing job of that pivot.
Holly, how many agencies do you serve?
So we fund directly 26 partner agencies, and that's 56 specific individual programs. We don't fund agencies per se. We fund specific programs that are aligned with the top community needs.
How do you assess those needs?
That's such a great question, and I think it's one of the things people don't understand about their investment in United Way. It has probably the strongest, I would say the strongest outcomes measurement outside of scientific academia of assessing outcomes of the programs. And why is that important? Because outcomes really demonstrate the change that took place in the lives of the people that you're trying to serve. We don't look at outcomes as being something that is a scorecard. It is a learning tool to ensure that the work being done is a change we hope to see in the lives of the people that we're working with. So it's funny, I had breakfast this morning with one of our nonprofit leaders who really acknowledged that and said, the outcomes measures and the whole application process that United Way has and the partnership makes all of us better and makes us stronger and ensures that the lives that we're trying to impact are truly being impacted in a measurable way.
All right, we're going to take a pause here, and we will be back. We're talking to Holly Miller, who is the president and CEO of United Way of Midland County. Campaign well underway. We'll talk more about it when we return here on Focus after these notes.
Exam 4 needs to be sanitized.
Rosanna's MRI clinic isn't operating at max efficiency. She needs a new certified tech certifiably now.
Someone's waiting in room 2 for an ACL scan. Can you handle that?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It's on. Greenstone Farm Credit Services interest rate special is here. Now through the end of the year, you can plug into a great short-term rate on select new loans with Greenstone. If you're considering financing this fall for real estate, equipment, or other farm purchases, don't wait. Contact your local Greenstone team today. They're on hand to discuss your lending needs and help you secure for you. For terms and conditions, or to learn more, visit greenstonefcs.com.
Dave Ramsey. That's how you do your predictions there. Same month last year. You're a farmer. When are you going to harvest your crop? Other than that, you're planting and making nothing. And you're waiting on the fall crop to come in. Then you're going to pull the corn. You're going to pull the soybeans. We know when that's coming. We know we're going to take that to market. We don't know exactly what it's going to yield, but we know it's not going to happen in this month. We know it's going to happen. Fail because they don't do what we're talking about. They don't predict. They don't do any budgeting. Drive their car looking only through the rearview mirror. What happened a year ago, not what's going to happen next year.
Dave Ramsey, weeknights at 10 on WSGW.
You can hear about the cultural contributions and concerns of the Hispanic community in the Great Lakes Bay region on one of WSGW's new public affairs program. I'm Larry Rodarte, publisher of Mi Gente magazine, and I'm inviting you to join us for Mi Gente on air Sunday evenings at 8 p.m.
On the next Mark Lee Van Camp and Robin show, excited to get back in the saddle and whip up a show. Rared up and ready to go. Chomping at the bit. Let's hoof it.
Mark Lee, Van Camp and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW. On air and online from the Stone Specialist Studios. This is 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
Back with you on Focus, talking to Holly Miller, President and CEO of United Way of Midland County. Holly, I know one of the things that you're going through is a kind of a prioritization, if you will, of groups and folks that need the attention of United Way of Midland County and your various agencies. Let's talk about some of those groups. The first one on the list here I see is students. So talk about that.
Yes, I think every one of us can agree that this has been a tough year for our educators, and they've done an amazing job of leaning in, being adaptive. But we know that we've lost classroom time because of the unpredictability. So, we know how important it is for how important education is for our kids, but we also know that once kids start falling behind, it can be very difficult for them to catch. Last year, our classrooms, our administrators, and our teachers were disrupted, but primarily to keep our kids safe. And I think they did a great job of pivoting and being nimble. But here's something that's really interesting. Before the pandemic and before all disruption, in Midland County alone, 45% of local third graders were not proficient at reading at third grade. And that number rise significantly for those that were economically disadvantaged for 64%. So that gap in learning of over 4 years exists for between low income and higher income families. And what we're hearing from educators is that number is after last year. Some may think it could take 4 to 5 years to make up that difference if they could ever make it up. And so one of the things that we do is we walk alongside the schools. We do not replace. The schools do amazing work. But we look at how can we walk alongside and invest in programs that can support that great work happening in the classroom. And we do that through a lot of different ways. But one of them is through mentoring and through tutoring, which is that ability to kind of walk alongside and add value with volunteers who can help a child and work with them independently to try to catch them up. And also, it impacts other academics. There are studies that show that kids that have a mentor are nearly 50% less likely to begin using illegal drugs and 76% more likely to enroll in college. So relationships in the lives of children matter. One of the other things from an economic standpoint that I think is always important, because there's an economic component of our children's success. But every dollar that we invest today in high quality learning and connection will yield between $7 and $17 later on, studies tell us.
Leverage. Next group is the acronym ALICE for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, and Employed. Tell us about that group.
This is such a vital part of our community, and they are vital to our economy as well. So as you said, ALICE stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. Employed being a key word. These are hardworking families throughout our states that have incomes below what we call a survival threshold, meaning they can often be one emergency away from falling into poverty. Someone who maybe have 2 to 3 jobs and their transmission in their car goes out. That creates a domino effect, because if they can't get to work, right, they can't sustain employment. And we want to make sure that we are shoring up that population and supporting them through crisis to keep them on their path. And it's really as much about stabilizing as it is lifting them and making sure they have access long-term to the skills and opportunities that they need to thrive. Here in Midland County, 28% of our population falls below the ALICE threshold. And that's much higher geographically for areas like the city of Coleman, which is like 64%. The good news, I'm going to show some good news, bad news, right? The good news was prior to 2020, we had really made inroads in seeing a decrease in this population. Since 2014, ALICE households have decreased from 7,700 to about a little over 6,000. And even the numbers in poverty had shrunk. That's the good news. Then we had a pandemic and then a flood that hit our community. And while we do not have the measures yet, we'll be able to study that data in the coming year. Our best estimates have the ALICE population potentially doubling. Mm-hmm. We saw that a lot with our essential workers during the stay home, stay safe, and during, what I heard on the announcements, we're at 19 months since the pandemic started. So we know that there's a population out there that is really struggling and needing help, many of them for the first time. And it's hard to ask for help, especially for all of us that are, that we always feel like there are other people who are out there that have more need or are worse off than we are.
And the other group, the other group we don't have a lot of time to talk about, but mental illness is certainly something that's been very much in the forefront in the last couple of years?
Last couple of years, and it certainly is high on our priority list right now. The CDC came out with reports that said reported mental illness disorders increased 400% from March of 2019 to March of 2020.
Wow.
That's significant. And
Yeah.
we're seeing that here locally as well. Right? We are, from every population, if you think about young kids, young adults, and even all of us, and those that are retired, and our local seniors, we're being isolated, and that's not good for us. As human beings, we're meant to be together and connected. So we're really doing some really innovative work in partnership with our local hospital, with senior services, with 211, to really address this head on, to kind of create a bridge to overcome loneliness.
Holly, where
So,
can
studies show us-
where can someone go for more information?
Our website has a wealth of information on it, and that's unitedwaymidland.org. And there's a tab up there that has a lot about community data and Alice. The more we educate ourselves, the more we're able to help.
Very good. Well, Holly, good luck with the campaign this year. I'm sure we'll talk again down the road and find out how well you're doing with it.
Great. Thanks so much, Art. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye now.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Holly Miller, President, CEO of United Way, Midland County. Again, unitedwaymidland.org. We'll get you more information. Back to close out after these notes.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier and empower your retirement. They talk about how a well thought out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement using everyday language. Simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Motown legends, the Temptations, the Four Tops. Saturday night, November 27th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Hempstead Tops, together again. Tickets start at $34. On sale now at Eagles Landing box offices or online at etix.com. T&T, together again. The legendary Motown sound, November 27th at Soaring Eagle Casino.
Just like my generation. Ain't no woman like the one I got.
Spend part of Thanksgiving weekend with the Temps and Tops at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
The way you do the things you do, the way you do. Oh, baby, I need your love.
Motown's Fab Five and Famous Four, The Temptations, and Four Tops. Tickets on sale now. Details at SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Michigan, it's time to play Lie or Law. Lie or Law. Drivers must allow at least 3 feet. It's a state law. Bike riders must ride in the direction of traffic. It's a state law. If anyone tells you different, it's a lie. Know the law, and remember, it's everybody's road, everybody's rules. Sponsored by the Michigan Office of Highway Safety Planning and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for the Frankenmuth Corn Maze. You are going to get a family pack for only $18. It's usually $36, but you are getting it half off. The family pack covers 2 adults and 2 children for entry. The Frankenmuth Corn Maze is open from September 24th through October 31st. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now and snag your deal.
RocketGrab.
This country is great because of the people in this country.
Sean Hannity, weekdays at 3 on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
And that'll do it for Focus today, sponsored by Roof Max, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle replacement. Find out about RoofMax online at roofmax.com or call Ben at 859-6751. RoofMax with 2 X's. Time to move over now to Baird & Company for our ticket tip of the day, and we say good morning to Steve Anderson.
Well, good morning, Mr. Lewis. How are you?
We're doing well, and how are the markets doing today?
Well, the markets are mixed a little bit. We've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average ahead by 151, putting it at 34,949 on volume of 309 million shares. The NASDAQ, however, is down 90, putting it at 14,958 on volume of 368 million shares. The local stocks that we normally look at, though, got quite a bit of green going on.
And your ticket tip for the day.
All righty. People that are going to, sometime in the future, there's this little thing called compounding that can really, really assist you in that goal. One of the things is you need to start early. Let's just say $100, a 30-year-old is putting away $100 at the beginning of each month, and somehow or another he manages to earn 7% in a tax-deferred account. That's kind of hard nowadays, but let's assume he does. He will, or she, will accumulate twice as much money as that of a 38-and-1/2-year-old who just saving $100 a month when they both reach the age of 60. That's kind of amazing. That extra 8.5 years basically winds up doubling what you have on the other end of the equation. So start early, figure out, even if you have to start out saving 1% and then just kind of sneak it up by 1% each year until you get to the percentage you're aiming for, it's a great thing. Plus, in many instances, you will get a company match up to a.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to your advisor and see what kind of a difference that really does make.
Well, how do we talk to you?
Well, if you're going to talk to me, you would call Baird & Company here in Saginaw, where the telephone number is 790-5724, or you could actually reach our Midland location at 839-9035, or we are on the web at rwbaird.com, and then look for the branch.
All right, Steve, have a great day. We'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it.
All right, Steve Anderson at Baird & Company with our ticket tip of the day. Coming up, the Farm Show with Farm Director Terry Henney right after these notes.
You can tell it's fall, huh?
Yeah, cooler days.
And leaves changing colors.
Kitchens becoming